If you live on the west side, you know timing is everything when it comes to your commute, especially when it comes to those railroad crossings, which is why the Salt Lake City Council is working on educating all of us on how to commute accordingly and, of course, stay safe. So we are joined by Salt Lake City Council member Alejandro Puy to talk a little bit about this promotion that you guys are doing to let people know about the railroad crossings. And for people who don't live on the west side, tell us what's the big issue with these crossings?
The train. The train comes and stops sometimes, and it blocks the crossing. You never know for how long. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 45 minutes. And then what do, right? Like you may be stuck there for a long, long time. And so right now we're gathering stories from the neighbors and from anybody that has stories to try to make a bigger push to find solutions. This, is changing our way of life. We are receiving stories, we need more.
And there's plenty of people. Everyone, I think, has their West Side train story and just the nightmare that they had to deal with. You also mentioned a way of educating people if they're at a specific crossing, how long they might end up waiting. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the council appropriated a little money to test technology that will educate drivers, pedestrians, and other users about an upcoming train and a possible blockage. So we are testing this technology. Hopefully we see it tested soon. We might need bigger solutions than that, but we're trying to mitigate the impacts. The trains are becoming longer. Sometimes the trains stop in the middle of the tracks. So we just need to have the information to make better decisions.
Sometimes it seems like the trains are even going backwards at times while you're waiting. What is the longest amount of time that you've heard from someone saying that they had to wait at one of these crossings?
When I was taking the photos, that train was there for 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
And I think one of the most aggravating parts, as you mentioned, you don't know if it's 5 minutes or it's going to be 40 minutes. And that's a huge difference. You don't know whether to call your boss and say, I'm going to be a little bit late, or, let's reschedule this appointment entirely.
Let me tell you, we are getting stories from employers telling us that their breaks have to be longer because their employees are stuck on the other side. We're getting stories from people in school. They're saying that they have to retake classes because they were too many times late. We got the story about a baby being born on the side of the train tracks because they got stuck in there. We're getting all sorts of stories. We need more. We need to find solutions for this big issue.
And this has been an issue for a long time. It was one of the first things that people told me about when I moved out here to avoid those train tracks because you never know how long you're going to be stuck there. How close are we getting to actually having some concrete solutions to this issue? You mentioned maybe having traffic be able to go over the train tracks or, some way to avoid this altogether. How much discussion, how close are we to seeing some progress on that?
We're not going to see progress on this until we organize each other. And this is why we're gathering these stories. Everybody that I talk to has a train story to tell me. What we need is to organize each other so we can actually make a big push to the people that can make a difference, and the federal government and the state and the owners of the train tracks, right? They need to hear us, and right now they are not getting the feedback. So I'm trying to capture all of these stories together to make that difference.
Before we go, where can people share those stories so that they can get their voices heard?
Yeah, I hope that everybody submits their story. tinyurl.com/SLC trains. It's tinyurl.com/SLC trains.
All right, Councilman Puy, thank you so much for joining us and talking about this somewhat controversial issue at times, depending on what side of the train tracks you're on.
Thank you.
Let's toss